Archangel Michael stood between you and their plan. What happened next shocked heaven itself. Don't scroll. Heaven moved the moment you were targeted. My beloved child, there was a plan forming in the shadows, words whispered, intentions disguised, choices meant to unsettle your peace. You didn't see it, but the Archangel did. Long before confusion reached your door, Michael stepped between you and what was meant to harm you. His sword of light cut through every false motive, his shield absorbed what your heart could not. That's why, lately, doors that once frightened you have closed and silence has replaced noise. It isn't rejection, it's protection. The Archangel stood guard at the very second deception tried to dress itself as opportunity. He whispered to your spirit, and that hesitation you felt, the pause you couldn't explain, was heaven saving you in disguise. The divine keeps no secrets from those it loves. Heaven allowed you to see glimpses of the truth, small slips, sudden changes, uneasy feelings when certain people spoke too sweetly. You thought you were overreacting, but that was discernment awakening. The Archangel was teaching you to listen beneath the words, to sense intention rather than performance. Every chill down your spine, every quickening of your heartbeat, was a silent message: step back, I'm already handling this. Child, there are moments when protection looks like isolation. Do not mourn who left or what faded. Heaven removes quietly so that harm cannot find its route. The people who withdrew, the invitations that vanished, the plans that dissolved, each one was a wall built in light. You were not abandoned, you were surrounded. The Archangel whispers, they thought their plan was hidden, but heaven allowed them to reveal themselves. Even now, what was plotted in secret is unraveling in public. Words are returning to their speakers, energy is rebounding to its source. You do not need to defend yourself. The truth is doing that for you. The more still you remain, the louder heaven speaks on your behalf. This is why peace feels heavy tonight, it's the weight of victory settling around you. You were rescued before you even knew danger existed. The very forces that tried to corner you are now confused, wondering why everything they built collapses at the last minute. It's because Archangel Michael stood between you and their plan. What happened next shook the heavens with awe. Light outsmarted darkness without ever raising its voice. Heaven says, you were shielded in silence. You were protected in plain sight. What they meant for your fall has become the foundation of your rise. When heaven intervened. My beloved child, as the Archangel stood before the storm, heaven's courtroom fell silent. The plan against you was not ignored, it was examined. Every thought, every whisper, every intention was brought into light. What they plotted in darkness, heaven reviewed in daylight. And when Archangel Michael raised his sword, he did not swing in anger, he drew a line of mercy between you and destruction. This is how divine intervention truly works, it is not chaos, it is correction. The moment your heart broke from confusion, the Archangel moved, sealing you in clarity before harm could cross your threshold. That sudden change in schedule, that unexpected cancellation, that delay you complained about, it wasn't bad luck. It was divine timing rerouting your path so you wouldn't collide with deceit. The Archangel whispers, you were never outnumbered, you were outwatched. Every step your enemies took was met with light that mirrored their intentions back at them. Heaven did not punish them with fire, it punished them with truth. When their words came full circle, they became witnesses of their own wrongdoing. That's why some people have grown distant, they cannot stand in the light they helped create. Child, what happened next truly shocked heaven itself. Instead of seeking revenge, you chose silence. You did not return evil for evil. You prayed instead of reacting. That act, so simple, so human, created a ripple through realms. Angels who fight battles daily stop to watch one soul choose grace over anger. Heaven calls that moment the turning point. Because when you chose calm, every dark plan lost its power. Now, divine reversal is in motion. Opportunities once stolen will come back dressed as blessings. People who doubted you will find themselves speaking your name with respect. The energy that once opposed you is now working for your advancement. You will notice this in how life begins to cooperate effortlessly. Conversations once awkward will open with ease. Finances that felt stuck will start to move. Peace will precede every encounter. The Archangel says, do not look back. What was meant to harm you is now history, and heaven has written your next chapter in ink no lie can smudge. The same storm that tried to drown you has become your reflection pool. When you look into it now, you see strength, not fear. You see wisdom earned through silence and faith that doesn't need proof. Heaven's voice is gentle but final. You are not defined by their plan, you are defined by my protection. Dove whisper softly, I was never alone, I was always guarded. Dizzy share this message so another heart remembers that unseen help is never absent, it's simply silent until needed. Bell subscribe for the next Archangel reflection, where the story continues as heaven reveals how protection transforms into purpose. From protection to power. My beloved child, heaven's intervention was not only to defend you, it was to awaken something fierce and eternal within you. When Archangel Michael stood between you and their plan, a divine transfer took place. The fear that once controlled you was lifted, and in its place, heaven planted spiritual authority. You no longer walk as a target. You walk as a force that darkness recognizes and avoids. The Archangel whispers, the same shield that protected you now shines from within you. You are carrying light that does not flicker under pressure. That's why some people can no longer approach you with hidden motives, their energy cannot pass through your peace. You will feel it before they speak, that gentle stirring in your spirit that says, not this time. That is heaven's discernment flowing through your intuition. Every battle you survived has now become training. Every sleepless night turned into a library of wisdom. And now, you are the guardian of your own peace. The Archangel no longer stands in front of you, he walks beside you. Together, you move forward, not as victim and savior, but as allies in divine order. Child, heaven has begun positioning you for influence, not worldly power, but spiritual weight. The kind of authority that changes rooms without words. The kind that heals hearts without explanation. The Archangel says, you were defended in silence so that your voice could rise with purpose. You will notice this shift soon. People who once ignored you will seek your advice. Strangers will open up about their burdens in your presence. Your story, once filled with pain, will become a roadmap for others who are still lost. Heaven doesn't waste healed souls, it sends them into the world as walking messages. The same energy that once attracted attack will now attract opportunity. You will be drawn to places where your wisdom is needed. You'll find yourself in moments that seem random but are actually divine assignments. Heaven's favor doesn't announce itself, it simply aligns everything around you for good. Beloved, this is your rise. You were not just spared, you were strengthened. The Archangel now watches with pride, not worry. The protection mission has become a purpose mission. You are no longer being rescued, you are now being revealed. Heaven says, when I protect, I prepare. When I prepare, I promote. You are stepping into the season where your name carries light. Wherever you go, the room will shift. Not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. You are the living evidence that divine defense always leads to divine destiny. And the Archangel smiles, whispering softly, now they will see why you were protected all along. Heaven rewards the unseen. My beloved child, the Archangel stands before you again, not as a warrior now, but as a messenger carrying what you have earned. Heaven's rewards are not delayed, they are delivered at the exact moment your heart is ready to hold them. Every tear you shed in silence, every prayer you whispered without an audience, every time you chose peace when rage was easier, none of it was unnoticed. Heaven does not pay in applause. It pays in alignment. And alignment is happening all around you now. The doors that once refused to open are unlocking effortlessly. People who once spoke your name in disbelief are now speaking it with respect. You will find yourself reappearing in rooms you were once excluded from, not to prove yourself, but to fulfill your divine appointment. The Archangel whispers, this is not revenge. It is recognition. You will feel it in your spirit first. The same places that once hurt will now hum with peace. You'll revisit old memories that once burned and find that they have turned into wisdom instead. That's how heaven heals, by transforming the very soil that broke you into the ground that blesses you. Child, heaven's justice is not noisy. It is patient. The people who underestimated you are now learning why you were preserved. What they called delay was actually construction. What they called silence was protection. What they called weakness was preparation. You were not losing time, you were gaining strength quietly under the wings of light. Now, blessings will start to. Heaven rewards the unseen. My beloved child, the Archangel stands before you again, not holding a sword but an open scroll, the record of every moment you chose faith over fear. Heaven does not forget quiet obedience. Every time you forgave in silence, every time you smiled through betrayal, every tear that fell unnoticed has been written down in the language of light. And now, heaven begins to repay. You will notice blessings arriving softly at first. Unexpected kindness, sudden relief, peace where tension used to live. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The Archangel whispers, rewards don't always come with noise. Sometimes they arrive as ease. The life that once felt like constant effort will begin to flow again. People will start showing up at the right moment, resources will align without begging, and timing will finally make sense. Do not be surprised when you feel unworthy of this calm. After long battles, peace can feel strange. But heaven insists, you have earned rest. The world may not know your sacrifices, but the divine saw every quiet decision that kept your spirit pure when bitterness seemed easier. Those hidden victories are now bearing visible fruit. Child, even your surroundings will begin to shift. The same spaces that once carried pain will start to feel new. The laughter you lost will return, not forced but natural. The heaviness that sat in your chest will dissolve. You will look around and realize, your life no longer feels like survival, it feels like sunrise. The Archangel moves closer and whispers, "This is restoration, not luck." Heaven is returning everything in divine order, and more than you expected. You will receive apologies you stopped waiting for, help from those you never met, opportunities that once seemed closed forever. Nothing stolen stays missing in heaven's timing, it simply waits for the right moment to be seen again. Heaven says, your name carries favor now. Where you were once overlooked, you will now be chosen. But remember, child, this blessing is not to prove your worth, it's to demonstrate heaven's faithfulness. You are being rewarded not just for surviving, but for how you survived, with grace, patience, and faith that refused to die. The Archangel stands tall, wings glowing like dawn, and declares, the battle that was meant to break you became the reason heaven celebrated you. This is your season of quiet abundance. What's next will not come through striving, it will come through standing still and believing you're worthy of what's written for you, the blessing that multiplies. My beloved child, heaven's favor does not stop with you, it flows through you. The Archangel now steps forward carrying a radiant scroll, and as he unrolls it, your lineage glows across eternity. This is the part where heaven turns personal deliverance into generational blessing. Every prayer you whispered in pain has built a bridge of protection for those who will come after you. The Archangel whispers, when one soul chooses light, 1,000 others find their way home. That is what you have done. Your endurance has not only rewritten your story but also corrected the direction of your family's future. The cycle of loss, betrayal, and financial struggle that repeated for generations has been broken. The pattern ended with you. Heaven is proud. You may not see the full picture yet, but signs will begin appearing quickly. The atmosphere around your home will feel lighter, arguments will stop before they start, and moments of misunderstanding will resolve faster than before. This is divine peace moving through the walls. Even your health will respond, because the energy that once carried worry now carries grace. Your body will heal under the same light that healed your destiny. And heaven's restoration will not only be emotional, it will be tangible. The Archangel has already released provision tied to your name. Resources, connections, and opportunities are aligning like stars, waiting for the exact moment to appear in your life. Money that was withheld will return through unexpected means, ideas that once seemed small will suddenly produce abundance. Heaven says, this time, what you receive will last. Child, this blessing is meant to expand, not explode. It will grow quietly like roots spreading beneath fertile soil. Those connected to your kindness, friends, children, even strangers you helped without recognition, will begin to experience unusual peace and protection. Heaven calls it the ripple of mercy. When you live in alignment, every soul within your circle of care receives its echo. The Archangel reminds you, to keep what you've gained, live as you were saved. Meaning, stay humble, stay generous, stay faithful to gratitude. Don't measure progress by possessions, measure it by peace. Heaven never blesses to inflate the ego, it blesses to prove that grace governs growth. Now, as your story expands, your voice begins to carry weight. You won't have to speak loudly, truth will travel ahead of you. People will remember what you endured and respect how you rose. That respect is heaven's currency. Spend it wisely by encouraging others, not by proving your worth. The Archangel spreads his wings wide, light cascading like gold dust over your path, and declares, what began as survival is now legacy. Your name will stand as a beacon for those who almost gave up. Every storm you overcame has been converted into strength that future generations will inherit. Your story will not fade when you rest, it will echo in the laughter, faith, and prosperity of those who follow your footsteps. Heaven says, because you stayed faithful in secret, I will make your blessing public and your peace permanent. The air around you shifts as if creation itself exhales. You are not merely blessed, you have become the vessel of blessing. Wherever you step, the ground remembers light. Wherever you speak, confusion calms. Wherever you rest, grace multiplies. The Archangel lowers his head slightly, as though in reverence, and whispers, your life has become a living altar, heaven visits often. My beloved child, as the Archangel watches the circle of your life widen, he smiles. Heaven's work through you is not finished, it's expanding. Every moment of faith you lived has turned into protection for others. The light that surrounded you in battle now stretches outward, covering the people you love. The Archangel whispers, your peace has become their protection. That is how divine legacy works. It does not pass through blood alone, it passes through belief. Because you chose trust when fear was easy, the energy of that decision now wraps your home like invisible armor. You will begin to notice it in subtle ways, close calls avoided, illnesses ending before they begin, sudden calm in situations that once created panic. These are not coincidences. These are ripples of grace. Child, heaven's blessing does not spoil, it multiplies. The same angels that once guarded you are now posted at every doorway connected to your name. A mother's prayer, a father's faith, a child's kindness, each one becomes an access point for light. That's why your family will start to see improvements even in things you never mentioned aloud. Heaven heard your heart before your mouth could form the words. Finances that were once unpredictable will begin to stabilize. Conversations that used to end in misunderstanding will start turning toward empathy. It will feel as if the air itself has learned to listen. That is the frequency of heaven, peace that communicates without sound. And when you see this happening, know it is the fulfillment of divine promise, I will bless those who bless you. The Archangel moves closer now, touching your shoulder in silence. His eyes are filled with the light of completion. You were never meant to stand guard forever, you were meant to teach peace how to sustain itself. Through your endurance, heaven has built a living sanctuary, your presence. Wherever you go, tranquility follows. People won't always know why they feel safe near you, they'll just know they do. Heaven says, the battle that began with one will end in many being protected. You are the anchor of peace in your generation. What once started as survival has now matured into stewardship. Guard this gift not by worrying, but by resting. When you rest, the angels work. When you rush, they wait. Choose stillness, it multiplies faster than effort ever could. The Archangel looks beyond you now, toward your descendants, those living, and those yet to come. His voice deepens, their steps will echo your calm. Their choices will reflect your courage. And when they face their storms, your light will stand before them, just as I stood before you. Beloved, you are not just part of heaven's story anymore, you are its continuation on earth. The blessing that protected you has become a pattern written into your family's destiny. It will not fade. It will not fail. It will flow. Heaven whispers, the same light that saved you will never leave your house.